my name's Andrew McTwain. I'm the editor of fundoperator.com, and today I'm joined by Arne Martin Moen, the Chief Operating Officer of Storebrand Asset Management. Arne, how are you?
Hi there, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much for joining me. Well, the reason for Arne and I speaking is that Arne will be speaking at our Fund Operator Summit Europe later on this year in London. He will be doing a keynote presentation on retaining and winning client business via operational decision-making, a case study examination from Storebrand on how to create excellence on project scope. So a big, broad topic with lots to discuss there. So Arne, I'm going to dive straight into some questions for you. So can you talk us through your views on operational decision-making? What are the big things to consider?
Yes, thank you so much. And it's great to be here to speak to you, and I look forward to speaking in London as well. I think, in terms of operations and operational decision-making, it's very important that operations is working. Daily BAU must always win. There's no point innovating if daily operations is not working. So I think, you still need to do a lot of development, but you need to have that solid base to work before you can start doing development. And I think you need to find the right balance between running and building. And that's difficult. And when you're building, you need to take risk. And it does take a lot of risk to actually implement and do change. So I think in order to do this, you need to manage the risks carefully. And sometimes it does hurt a little bit to move the needle, but that's necessary. And that's where decision making is key. And you need to make sure that you make informed decisions. You need to have the right level of risk appetite. And I also think you need to have the hunger for change to do that.
Great answer there, Arne. Thank you very much for that. So I want to go on to my next question, which is tangentially related to that. What are the key areas that you think the businesses fail to consider when tackling this area? You covered this a little bit in your first area about not failing to have these ideas. So what are the pitfalls and the frequent mistakes and the unforeseen unforeseen consequences that you've seen that you would advise, are easy wins to not fall into?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and it's difficult to find the right balance that I spoke about earlier. And I think if you do too much change and you do too much or you introduce too many changes, you also can introduce too much risk. Again, if you don't do any change, you will be outdated. And in this environment, you'll be outdated pretty quickly. And if you are, it takes a lot of time and effort to play that catch up. And you need to spend a lot of time, a lot of money to get back to where you want to be. And in order to be able to do all of this, you obviously need to have the people with the right mindset. Carol Dweck wrote this book, Mindset, which talks about fixed and growth mindset. And I think you need to have people with growth mindset who can help you drive the change. And once you have that, you also need to have a very clear strategy, a clear vision of where you want to go. And you need to make sure you communicate that and make sure people will go there with you. And once you have that, you obviously need to create a plan. And you need to have a solid plan and a clear plan on what to do in order to get to where you want to go. And that could be a bit difficult sometimes. And that's where I see some of the pitfalls. And that's where also we have made some mistakes through the years. And we've learned from that and tried to manage that part.
So you've mentioned there about mistakes you've made in the past. And that brings me on to my third question, which is, what are some of the lessons that you've learned? And what do you think the industry needs to know? So from your perspective, what are the lessons you've learned?
Yeah, I have spent a lot of time, for a long time actually, building solid teams. It needs to have a good mix of people. You need to have people with different backgrounds, different knowledge, different specialities. And I think that's essential when you want to create and when you need to manage change. And what I've learned a lot about is about taking risk. Obviously, my job is to make sure that we do take risk, but we also need to make sure we manage it carefully. And speaking about experiences, I've been in positions where, I've been taking too much risk and things have blown up. And that's not nice. That's not a good feeling. However, if you have that solid team as the foundation, things will sort itself out, even though it's going to be a bumpy ride. But I find that the balance between taking risk, managing it carefully. That's been a very valuable lesson for me through the years of creating and introducing change in this space.
It's fascinating insights. Thank you very much for that. And that takes me to my last question, Arne, which is I want to talk about the overall themes of this, which is in terms of creating excellence. Can you talk us through what your idea of excellence is, and when do you know that you've reached it?
That's a very interesting question, and I don't think there's a definite answer to this, and I think maybe you'll never ever reach excellence. I think operational excellence is all about wanting to and willingness to change. It's about being hungry for improvements, for always wanting to do things better. And whether that's being, technology, it's processes, it's data, and even yourself, right? Because my goal is to always try to be a better version of myself tomorrow than what I was today. And if we all do that, if we have that in mind, both for ourselves, for our companies, for the work we do, for the processes, then I think we will gradually create excellence. Even though it's not a finite state, we always want to be better. We always want to do things better, introduce new technology and improve continuously for the years to come by.
Thank you very much, Arne. Well, if you've enjoyed how you were saying just there about the ways you can improve your processes over the years, please do register to attend Fund Operator Summit Europe, which will be in mid-November here in London. Arne will be speaking on his keynote presentation about finding excellence, and I'd like to thank him very much for his time today, and I look forward to seeing him at the event. And also, please do visit fundoperator.com for more information. You can find other interviews and articles with Arne mentioned. So thank you very much, and goodbye.